We ready, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and call this regular meeting of the East Peoria City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Decker,
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Mingus,
Here.
Sutherland,
Here.
Mayor Call.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation. Remain standing for the pledge.
Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and every day that you give us. As we gather today, along with the rising bend of the Illinois River, let us ground ourselves in gratitude for the unique spirit of East Peoria, a community forged in heavy industry, built on a foundation of grit and continually stepping forward into excellence. As we ask for wisdom and clarity as we stand at the threshold of a new season, grant our leaders a unified, singular vision as they make decisions regarding our expanding borders, managing the growth of our rolling hills, and transforming raw land into safe, welcoming neighborhoods where future generations of families will plant their roots. Let our discussions be guided by mutual respect and absolute integrity. May we embrace the energetic rhythm of August as our children prepare to return to school and our community comes together in play and support for one another, from the bustling corridors of the Levy District to the recreational grounds of Eastside Center. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move the minutes of the regular meeting held on July 21st, 2026, and the closed meeting executive session held on July 21st, 2026 be approved as printed.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Decker, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Mingus,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carried. All right, nothing under communication. Public comment. Anyone wish to address the council on an agenda item, please step forward. Very good. I'm seeing no one. Commissioner Hill, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a consent agenda consisting of items numbered 1 through 5. Item number 1, adoption of resolution number 2627-044, resolution to approve payment of the scheduled bills listed on schedule number 6 in the amount of $1,129,406.39. Item number 2, adoption of ordinance number 4918 on second reading, an ordinance authorizing a special use for an accessory structure on property located at 311 Shady Lane in the city of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois. Item number 3, adoption of resolution number 2627-037 on second reading, resolution approving Microsoft software licensing renewal for the city. Item number 4, adoption of ordinance number 4920 on second reading, an ordinance amending city code provisions regulating residential solicitors in Chapter 4 of Title 10 of the city of East Peoria. Item number 5, adoption of resolution number 2627-039 on second reading, resolution authorizing the purchase of new air packs from Municipal Energy Emergency Services, Inc. for the city's fire department as listed on the agenda for this meeting to be considered by omnibus vote.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Roll call.
Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Mingus,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that items numbered 1 through 5 listed on the consent agenda be hereby approved and adopted, and items numbered 2 through 5 have been read once by their title and have been laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
Hill,
Aye.
Mingus,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Mayor Call.
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4917, hereto attach an ordinance regarding the salary of the city's mayor subsequent to the 2027 municipal election who serves on full-time basis and performs chief executive officer duties in lieu of employing a city administrator, having been read once by its title, have laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection, be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mangus.
I want to start by clarifying, I think, one of the biggest misinformations, misstatements that I've heard since this, our first reading. And one of them that was reported is that the mayor asked for a raise. And I want to go out and really clarify that, and I'm going to give you a little history and background. But when the mayor mentioned in the previous meeting that he had asked our city attorney to start this process early, it wasn't about asking for a raise. And I'll talk a little bit about now. It was more about the process, and that process, there's two elements. The Illinois Constitution, Article 7, Section 9B, explicitly prohibits increasing or decreasing an elected officials' compensation during their active term. This necessitates setting the salary strictly before any term commences. So that is one element at the state level. The other one is the 180-day rule, the Illinois Municipal Code 65 ILCS 5-3.1-50-10, and the Local Government Officer Compensation Act that mandates the compensation for elected officials be fixed at least 180 days before the new term begins. So with that being said, this process could have started earlier. It did not. I was involved in the prior one, and that's, as that wording there shows you, we can't really change the salaries of any elected official until approximately right before the next election, which the next election, general election, will be in April of '27. But we even go back to some of our own. Ordinance number 277 was created and approved December 6th of 1994, and it established the salary framework for mayors and commissioners. And in there, they also added that those salaries could increase according to the Consumer Price Index. So again, your salaries could not change, but it was covered in that one. In Ordinance 4611, we did. Voted in December of 21, effective May 23rd, established the salary of a full-time mayor act as a city administrator. And we have to go back a little bit that it was then that right before this council's first term, the city council had relieved the city administrator and decided to go without a city administrator. So that ordinance there actually recognized that we have a mayor that could work as a city administrator. And I may have forgotten one. So the framework for why we're setting this position, every year or two I am involved, HR will look at our non-represented employees and look at the market. And so really what this ordinance is about is looking at the mayor and the full-time city administrator role and saying, what should that salary be? It's not for John Call. It will be in effect for the next mayor that gets elected in '27, but we look at this to make sure that the wage is appropriate for the job. And we can only do that on, really, I'd say on a 4-year basis. We can only do it not while the term commences, or the new term commences, is the only time we can do it. So that being said, I mentioned, just to give a sampling for those that may or may not have heard, we've got Peoria City Manager, more than 233,000, with benefits 334. Getting a little closer, at Washington City Administrator at 180,212,435. And when we looked at this, what should the full-time mayor, city administrator be paid, we knew that we're saving on full-time employee benefits, and we did not give the city administrator's salary combined with the mayor's full-time. And we did look at what was, I don't say what was fair, what was the market, and the 128,000 is what's proposed in this ordinance, and that may even be shy, but we felt that that was a fair wage for a mayor that's doing both, and the chief executive officer. And so in the event that we would have to go out and that's a choice by the city council following the next election, determines whether the mayor is part-time, full-time, or full-time as the city administrator, in which case the council decides that. And if we decide not to make that person a city administrator, we're looking at, and we conservatively, or I think it's conservative after seeing these numbers, $160,000 without benefits that we bring in a city administrator to fill that role. So we think this is the most effective and efficient for the city, and making that role, whoever fills that role, if chosen by the council, will get $128,000 a year. So with that, I yield.
Yeah, I asked the commissioner earlier today if he didn't mind if I took the lead after the motion was made and seconded. I had no idea what his comments would be, but I think I'm deserving, sitting in this chair, to lead this conversation. This is a standalone item. It's been a standalone item since 1994. It never should have been lumped in with any other issues or any other concerns anybody up here on this dais had. It's never been politicized. The city went in that direction in 1994, and I went back to look, because this isn't about John Call, it's about the position that I hold. I'm not going to hold this position forever, and the next council gets to decide what that council wants to do. It's been that way. So I am going to correct some former and current city employees that chose to go on social media and continue to spread their misinformation. So I went back and did a little homework. So tonight was a little history lesson. He talked about the state statute. This city council, and if it were me sitting there as a commissioner, I had to do this no different than these guys have to do it today. By law, 180 days out before the new term begins, you have to establish any new salaries for any municipal officers. That includes commissioners, mayor, doesn't matter. So the city, by ordinance, which the commissioner touched on, 2777, did that. They fixed a full-time mayor's position salary and a part-time mayor's position salary and a commissioner's salary. So when he touched on the CPI, it's not that clear. Actually, it's the lowest average CPI that's done by region. So what does that mean? And I encourage people, please do me a favor. If anything, read the actual ordinance. Go back and read the language in an ordinance and a resolution. It spells it out clear as day what this council is being asked to vote on, what action they're being asked to take. It will lay out, like it has to do, with the CPI. So starting May 1st, 1996, and the first day of May, each their year after, the compensation shall be adjusted to reflect the increase, if any, in the cost of living based on the smallest change in the CPIW, which is all wage earners, and the changes in the CPIU, which is all urban consumers, for both all cities. And that's nearest reported urban center for the preceding calendar year. And that information is put out by the United States Department of Labor. Go back since 1996. It's all public record. Every public employee, your salary, everything about you as an employee is public record. Go back and do your homework. I encourage you to do that. So then in 2019, which this council was elected for its first term together, and there are three people up here that were new to the council. Prior to that election, Commissioner Decker served as commissioners. We had a city administrator. It was an epic fail. It took us back years. And so that council at the time decided not to renew the contract, and we decided as a council, Mayor Mingus included, that we were not going to hire another city administrator. We're going to allow this council, when they came in their first term, to decide what they wanted to do. So this council, and Call abstained, matter of public record, I have never voted on this. I've never voted on anything that applies to John Call as the mayor of East Peoria. When it comes to salary, that's not my job. So in 2019, these gentlemen passed resolution number 1819132, which basically changed the status of the mayor to full-time with city administrator duties. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Talk about misinformation. I'm on my second term, 4-year term. My first term, I got the same salary as Mayor Mingus for 4 years. There was no extra money for handling the city administrator duties. Zero. So for those clowns that want to sit out there and say, I voted for a pay raise, my first act as mayor, false. Do your homework, matter of public record. So that brings us to 2022. And I will say this, since 1994, anytime the council has had to approve this, it's always been at least a year. Not 5, not 6, not 8 months. It's a year out. I simply asked the city attorney if he could move this forward in February. I think I said February. Actually, I was wrong. It was January, come to find out. I'm not involved in the process. That's not up to me. I've stayed out of it. So here we are, comes forward a couple weeks ago. But in 2022, February 1st, the election was in April of 23. This council on February 1 of 2022, by ordinance 4611, look it up, read the language. They established a wage for a full-time mayor with city administrator duties that was different than a full-time mayor. So they did that in 2022 to go in effect the term beginning May of 2023. That amount was $98,915. That's been my salary. I'm not collecting a pension. I'm not getting a second pension. What I have done over the last 7 years, and I'll continue to do for the next 8 months, whatever left on this term, is dedicate and commit my entire life to serving this community. It was never about the money. I made that clear when I ran for this office. I appreciate the fact that these gentlemen have supported me. I think this council's done wonderful things together, and I just think it's an embarrassment that we're even having to talk about this. But since we are, I'm going to give you some other facts because I deserve that. So, since May of 2019 through the end of this term, which will end May of 2027, I bet there's not one person in this room or watching this broadcast that has any idea how much money, by me serving and handling these duties, I have saved the taxpayers of East Peoria. Well, I ran the numbers. So here's what I'm going to tell you. $1,225,000, $225,956. That does not include pension cost. I would have calculated that, but the percentage changes on an annual basis, and I didn't feel like doing the math. My point is, I've saved the taxpayers by doing this job 24/7, 365 days a year for a period of 8 years by the end of this term, over $1 million that has allowed us to fix infrastructure, buy equipment, hand out raises. And I think it's insulting for anyone to lump my salary in. And for a matter of record, we have 175 full-time employees. You know what my salary today ranks? 47th. Not about the money, folks. I'll continue to do my job because I'm not here to serve special interests. I'm here to serve the people that elect me to do the job. I think I've done a great job. I'll continue to do that. And that's all I have to say about it. So I'll turn it over to the council for comments.
I'd like to speak. I'm going to stay consistent with what I said a couple nights ago or last meeting, that I've never had an issue with the amount. Mark Hill does a great job analyzing different wages. He's done this for a few of them, and I completely understand the numbers that he has. So my issue was never about the amount. There's no doubt that the effort and the work that John does justifies the position. My concern was that we were looking at one job and not looking at other employees as well. Now, having said that, I think one of my last comments was, I hope in 2 weeks from now to have progress made and then I could support this, and I believe that we have. We certainly do not, we haven't made anything concrete, but I appreciate the work that not only Mayor Minkus, Seth Minkus has done, but appreciate the conversation that we've all had. And I think that working toward fair wages for all is important. There is, not going to get into the weeds as far as like why to bring up other things right now, but I think it's important that, I think Mark mentioned market rate, market analysis, and I think that's important that we look at whenever we look at employee salary. So I am going to support it tonight because, as I said, I do believe that progress has been made over the last couple of weeks. I believe that we have more conversations to go, but I appreciate the effort being made.
Any other comments?
Yeah, just a question. When we did this a few years ago, I remember we set at least I feel like I remember we set the salary rate for not only a full-time mayor, a mayor with city administrator duties, but we also set a rate for a full-time mayor with the city administrator and a part-time mayor. Something the mayor just said is, and maybe I should know this, have those salaries increased as time has gone on, or are those salaries the exact same as they were?
So
4
they're
years? Does
adjusted
that
by
make
the
sense?
CPI, no different than your guys' salary is adjusted by that CPI, that lowest percentage.
So those salaries have increased as time has gone on also. That's what I thought that was the case. I just wanted to make sure I understood that
Yes.
correctly. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I got a little something to say about this. This situation, this conversation has absolutely nothing to do with another department. Should never been tied in, absolutely not. Not unless we were not being able to pay our bills or something like that, and somebody was walking off with a bag of money. There's no way it makes any sense at all. And whoever is going to be the next mayor, and this has already been said, but I want to say it in Mike's way. Whoever is going to be the next mayor has to get city council approval to be a full-time mayor, or a full-time mayor and a full-time city administrator, and then the wages have already been set. And I'm going to say this, probably going to get there are people sitting up here on the city council that I would never vote to be a full-time mayor or a full-time city administrator, and I'm one of them. I'm not smart enough. And I'm saying just because you make it to the city council or to be a mayor doesn't make you capable to do what's being done now. And take a look at our past city administrators that we've hired, and they haven't turned out so well. This one's turning out pretty good for all of us. I'm done.
Very good, thank you. All right, roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Hall?
Abstain.
I have 4 ayes and 1 abstention, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4921 here to attach ordinance approving cash rent lease of city farmland to Mike Yordy and Sons, Inc. be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
This one's pretty straightforward. Most people, I would hope, already have heard, but we bought the Kyle Bly Farm, 272 acres. We expect to have possession or close on that property by October. And as we stated when we first got, I'll say, some flashback from citizens, oh, is it going to be a solar farm? Is it going to be a data center? We acknowledge that we bought this for the future benefit and development of East Peoria. So not having a plan, the thought was that currently it's being farmed by Mike Yordy and Sons, and we will rent out the 210 tillable acres to him to farm as he's been farming. And it'll be a year, lease will be a rollover year to year, so it'll give us the opportunity as each year, if we're ready for some development, or we would have that ability with this type of land rent. So what's in front of us, and I recommend approval, is that we're going to cash rent lease the farmland to Mike Yordi and Sons for continued use until the time when we choose to develop it.
And I'll just say it's a fifth-generation family that has an excellent reputation, and they've done a really good job and actually have made some improvements up there, so. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, I move you that ordinance number 4919 here to attach an ordinance regulating development in floodplain areas in the city of East Peoria, Illinois, be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mingus.
I'm going to turn this over to Ty Livingston to explain what's going on. But, I mean, we're updating our floodplain ordinance and what is driving that and what impact that has on our citizens. So, Ty, go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we did this exercise in 2017, and it's driven by FEMA updating their maps. They once again come back to us and have updated the maps again. This time, the differences are a certain number of properties that are being added. That there are, by our best estimate, about 430 new properties being added, and those aren't all private properties. But it does change things. And so the two major changes in this ordinance that we need to adopt are, one, it's going to change the what needs to be required as far as the maps. So the map is going to impact areas like the portion of the Richland neighborhood, the area across Washington from East Peoria High School, Central Junior High, and then also an area at the end of the viaduct on Meadow. And so the practical application here is what happens is that those properties that have a federally backed mortgage, something from a traditional bank, would have to get flood insurance. The other major change here is that we're changing what is considered freeboard. And freeboard is that difference between what the base flood elevation is and what the elevation it needs to be for the finished floor of a building. And so we're changing that from a tenth of a foot to 1 foot. And this is something that the Department of Natural Resources has been after us for a long time. What this is set up is it gives some amount of flexibility. So it's designed not to impact smaller projects. So not unlike our non-conforming use, it also says if a project does not impact, so if you have an addition and it's less than 50% of the overall value of the property, they don't have to follow this new freeboard requirement. If it's greater than that or if it's new construction, it would have to. So it's a market change. And basically the maps are something that we really don't have a choice in. We try to go down the path to look at deferring this. We explored a lot of different options. The mayor can attest to that. And
Oh, I'm going to pipe in. I'll wait till you're done.
so we're kind of at this crossroads where these need to be adopted by the community by September 7th. Otherwise, current properties, of which there's about 80 of them, and then any new ones would not be eligible for the NFIP program, the National Flood Insurance Program, as well as impacting their ability to get assistance, and even the city's ability to get some assistance in different cases. So it's not really a great situation to be in, but it's something that we have to do, and it's being kind of pushed upon us, and not anything that the city initiated, but this is kind of where we're at and being presented. So, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you have some comments.
So this has been probably one of the most frustrating things that we've had to deal with. And I say we because it's not just the city. There's other entities involved. Here's what really sucks for us. We're the facilitator. I mean, quite honestly, that's why it's before us tonight. The federal government's requiring us to adopt their maps. This is, as Ty stated, it's the second time since 2017 they've updated them on this side of the river. Get my hint. Unlike nothing on that side of the river. However, I will say this. This didn't just land in our laps. This has been a vicious cycle, has it not, Ty? Countless meetings. I'm going to name names because I think the public deserves to know to what length we've gone to defer, stop, protect the impoverished neighborhoods and businesses, quite honestly, that are going to be affected by these new maps and the cost to them that they can't afford with this flood insurance. Our levees were built by the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, you go figure that out. I'm 60. They were here well before me. They've never failed, never saw anything flooded to the extent they would like you to think is going to flood. But we have been in meetings with Congressman LaHood's office and Senator Durbin's office, and we got nowhere. And the response was simple. It's FEMA. Can't help you. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. We got some work to do, but I just want the people that are affected, and I want the commissioners to understand, we have been through with engineers, with legal counsel, with the federally elected people, and we got nowhere. And we tried, and we've tried, and we've tried. And you might as well talk to that wall, because it's FEMA, and FEMA does what FEMA wants to do. Now, on the flip side, here's the challenge we have. We don't adopt their maps, then the people that are already going to be negatively affected, no matter what, are going to be even more affected by our actions by not approving it, because then they won't qualify for the NFIP program. And it does affect the city. You know, I brought up Caitlin Court. We talked about that. Those were FEMA funds. If this city were to have a huge natural disaster, which for Illinois could happen any day of the week, we wouldn't qualify for any assistance, federal. So, and I'm not trying to strong, everyone's got their own decision to make tonight, but I'm just telling you, we're up against the wall, and they gave us a deadline, and that's why it's before us tonight.
Once adopted, there are opportunities to change the map, but we know it's not an easy process. That once you put something in, you have to go through a process that typically involves a surveyor, an engineering firm. It's not an inexpensive process. We do have some information on the website. There's an FAQ page on the city's website. We've got some of the static maps that were in your packets tonight. There's also, on our GIS, you can look at an interactive map to determine whether or not your property is in it. We presume that the property owners will be contacted by their mortgage holders. We don't know what the process is going to be, but we certainly wanted to talk about it tonight and try to provide as much information that we can.
Well, we've committed ourselves, Ty and I, we've talked about the whole staff, all of us. The fight's not over. I don't know, I don't have an answer. I don't know who we go to. If Congressman and a senator, United States Senator can't help us, I don't know where we turn, but I think it's worth continuing the fight to see if we can get these maps changed. I think it's unfair. Just to be honest with you, look at the maps and you can figure out who's in, who's out, and then ask yourself, when were the maps updated in surrounding counties?
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to
Yep.
jump in.
Yeah, open for discussion.
FEMA are non-elected people changing our lives without anybody's blessing. That's a bunch of crock of shit that should never be allowed in this country. Never. And it's being stopped supposedly in Washington, D.C., one little step at a time on certain things that are high visible things. And this could be one of them. And let's be blunt here. The people that live down by the high school on Sheen Street, Washington Street, anybody down in that area, they're affected. Never once has that creek overflowed. We've had storm sewers that weren't cleaned up and had garbage put on top of it, which didn't allow the water through and got water in a basement or two. But In Richland Farms, there are hundreds of houses that are 3 and 4 foot below the 100-year floodplain. There are some big pumps down there that have never failed us. Nobody has ever got flooded out, to my knowledge, anywhere in East Peoria because of the Illinois flooding up and over with, except for down by Steak and Shake back in the days. Not only would their banks be knocking on their door as soon as we vote yes on this, the banks will call their loans in because they don't have the proper FEMA flood insurance. So the people that are paying for their houses are going to have to get an attorney and fight the banks off, because the banks will buy the insurance if we pass this and pass it on to the customer. And the average price is around $2,000, $2,500 most likely. Nobody knows. Every house is going to be a little different. But I can just about guarantee it won't be below $2,000. They will never be able to get a permit to build down there. With this floodplain, even with the freeboard changing a little bit, they will never be able to get a permit down there to do anything of any. They'll never be able to sell their house for any reasonable amount of money. No one will want to buy their house. And if somebody did buy their house, they would have to pay cash for it because of the bank is going to force them to have flood insurance, which, if I have a place down in Florida, you can't afford it. It'll drive you out of your home. It is a very expensive thing unless you know you're going to get flooded out every year, like some of the houses along the Illinois River. They know that they're going to get flooded out every year because we all have to pay for it through their participation in the flood insurance. The people that we're supposedly trying to protect don't need protected. And I'm going to disagree with the mayor that if we decide not to approve this, that FEMA isn't going to walk away from a tornado. They're not going to walk away from a lot of things. Now, they may get pissed off at us and walk away from flood stuff for us. But I think that if we get a court involved, a judge involved, that to put a stay on this, I would much rather knock on President Trump's door begging for him to get involved with this before we approve this. I would, because the bigger the government, this is what big government causes. They don't have a problem, but now they're going to have one. They're going to have one where they can't buy, they can't sell, they can't stay. They can't. Now, if they full out own their house and they don't owe anything on a bank, then they don't have to get this insurance. Who down there fully owns their house? Who? Very, very, very few. They're going by a 500-year floodplain. Not a 100-year floodplain, a 500-year floodplain. Who in the hell knows what happened 500 years ago? Seriously. They can't even tell me what the temperature is going to be 4 and 5 days from now, if I'm going to get rain or not. They're not as smart as what they think they are. And as you can well bet, I'm not going to support this one iota. Not one scintilla tonight. It makes no common sense for us at all. I don't trust the government, and this is a big reason why.
Very good. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mayor. I think we have to go with the information we have. And that information we have is that the maps are here, and we either accept them and allow people to make decisions on their property, or we don't, and precludes us, I believe, from receiving federal aid in the future. That's at least what we've been told. Now, I will agree with a couple things Commissioner Sutherland said. Did a quick Google search right before the meeting. If you have a house that is, the structure's $250,000 or less, and contents 100,000 or less, it says that the yearly insurance would be somewhere between $1,100 and $3,500 a year. That was Google, like I said, Google search, so I have not verified it. But man, that's scary. All the people that are affected by this is terrible. This is, it's so damaging to people that in some of our communities, some of the more impoverished areas of our communities. So we can't expect or think that they can afford this. This is terrible. And, you know, I'll defend what the mayor says. He's been working on this. I believe it was like 2019 or so when I first heard you talking about it. And I thought, no way could they do that. Sure enough, here we are. And we have to adopt it by September, beginning of September. And I do like the idea of continuing to fight forward. I think I was talking with the mayor earlier about, you know, what can we do? What physically, what can we do? Can we work to raise the levy? Well, that certainly wouldn't be cheap. That would be extremely expensive. Whatever we can do would be extremely expensive. But I'm certainly worried about all of those residences that are in this floodplain. Fortunately, in the audience, I think looking at the map, it looks like yours is just out of it. I hope, sure hope so. This is such a terrible thing, and I can't believe that the level of people that the mayor has been speaking with over the recent years wasn't able to somehow curb this. As he mentioned, I think was it 1921 was the flood, if not, my memory could be wrong, 11, somewhere in there. But since then, since the levy system has been in place, this has not been a concern. It's not been something we've had to worry about. So to change it now, and especially what the mayor alluded to, that it was not changed like everybody. This is Tazewell County's, and it affects us, and that's troubling as well. How was that decision made? So it is with regret that I'm going to support this because I don't see another option. Supporting this will at least allow people to purchase flood insurance and will at least allow them to protect their home in case something did happen. If we voted no on this, if we did nothing, then my concern is if something did happen, not only would the federal government not come to our aid with monies to help, but then the residents themselves would not have been able to purchase insurance. So I am going to begrudgingly support this tonight.
Well, I want to step in here. If there has never been a flood in Richland Farms in over 80 years since levees have been put in, then why would they want to buy flood insurance? Why would we want to hold them back from buying? What we're going to do is we're going to drive a lot of people out of their homes. That's what's going to happen. And now is the time when you vote on things, when you don't have FEMA non-elected officials telling me what to do. Now is where you have to step up and be a man and vote on this with your conscience. We're going to move lots of families out over this little vote, Mark my words.
If Commissioner's correct, I love that idea, but I would ask, I don't know if Kate, if you've had an opportunity to look into this, or Ty, if you know the answer, not voting on this or voting no, what does that mean for the people in these areas?
Not updating our flood ordinance.
We have it in writing. They're not qualified for the NFIP, for one.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What is that, Mayor?
That's a national flood insurance program. So they don't qualify for that.
Okay.
So they lose everything in the event that they have a 500 years flood.
Come on.
Well, no,
Come on. Come on. Get serious with
Okay.
that statement. Come on.
Well,
I
here's
mean,
one thing that I'd like to add that I didn't get to say, that changing these maps does not make the individuals any more likely to flood. Now, unfortunately, it does force flood insurance on them. My homestead that I grew up in, according to the maps that are in the packet, looks like the shading touches half of the backyard, and I grew up on Bloomington Road, so Michelle Street, Elmwood, those are heavily shaded according to my interpretation of the maps. Those are the part that are on the other side of Sheen's on one side of the levee, and But, you know, going with both of these comments on the price, had that been in effect when I lived there, I don't know that, you know, my mother could have afforded the place. But, you know, again, I think it's a detriment not to update our flood ordinance. So I'm going to support the ordinance as
There's no
it's
common sense.
written. You know, because
Commissioner Sutherland, listen, nobody up here wants to vote for this. Understand that.
Then vote no.
Good door. Real quick, I agree with pretty much everything everybody has said up here. The only thing I want to say is I think probably some of those, especially down by the high school, probably more unlikely. But I do remember, I think it was my first year on the council, 2019, 2020. Didn't we had not mandatory, but voluntary evacuations down in the Richland area when the levee was so full they were walking the levee every day down here on the levee district because it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we go around?
That
and-
was
was
well
before,
before that, yeah.
With 13.
Yeah,
that was a scary time.
That was when your dad was mayor.
Yeah.
And I remember having a meeting as a commissioner right in this room with Chief Knapp and I think Mayor, there were a lot of people with that flood that we had that was a 100-year flood or whatever. Time goes by, I don't remember when it was, but we did have, maybe it was when my dad was 2013. Within the last 20 years, we've had at least voluntary evacuations in the Richland area due to fear for flooding. So while I think it's highly unlikely, and I didn't like the map adding down by the high school, I thought that was probably overstretched. I do think there is a fear potential for flooding. Now, do I think we should require people to have insurance? That's, I guess, between them and their mortgage broker, but I do think we risk a lot by not passing it, and I'm taking it that gives them the opportunity to get cheaper flood insurance, that the program that the
That's my
federal-
understanding, to get flood insurance, and it's the best rate that they can offer. I will mention with the Richland neighborhood, the issue isn't the levy. It has to do, and I'm not going to get too in the weeds with it, but it has to do with.
Oh, go ahead. We're already in the weeds.
It has to do with pumping capacity, is we've learned, they identified, is it's draining things out of there. It's not the levee condition.
Which is probably why it's listed on those maps I'm taking.
Yeah, but that's why it's included. It's, the levee in this portion, in this stretch here, is certified. Now, when you go beyond Main Street, then that is not certified, and that's what triggers what's going on with Central Junior High School and beyond that reach. So
Which again, just for the record, the levy is not property of the city of East Peoria.
Correct.
Just so.
This is where, we walk a fine line of trying not to dump on all these other taxing bodies, but reality is we have a similar conversation once a year with property taxes. Is what I hope folks understand is there's a sanitary district, which maintains the levee that way. And then what Ty's referring to down in the Richland neighborhood is the levee and drainage district, which is its own taxing body that the city gets blamed for. But they were supposed to submit a plan, if I'm wrong, right, to take corrective actions to Ty's point. Ty's being very politically correct here, by the way. But I think we're in a very, very tough spot here with this conversation. So I think the more transparent we are, I hope people understand this. They're their own taxing bodies. We're the facilitator, we're the bad guys, but we have nothing to do with it. Yet we're being forced to make a decision, really on behalf of other people, that it's not their responsibility to make that decision. However, it is their responsibility to maintain the levee and the drainage. Did I say that right?
So we're being asked to solve a problem we can't fix.
Correct.
We can't fix those.
Other
we can't-
than having conversations where we bring them in and we talk till we're blue or red in the face. Once again, I referred to talking to FEMA like the wall. Well, it's like the wall talking to the sanitary district. It's visible for all of us to see every day you drive by, the condition of the levee. You go down to the drainage when it rains, we get calls down there. Those folks are frustrated. And these people have been put on notice. They know what they need to do to take corrective action. And it's nothing but talk and buying more time. And I see no action. And I'm quite frankly frustrated to the point where I don't think we should have to take the blame for it. I don't mind being the bigger person and leading the charge. But holy crap, it takes these other taxing bodies to participate and to do what they're supposed to do, what they're charged to do. And it's pretty clear in state statute what their responsibilities are and why they're not held accountable. But we have the IDNR that we answer to and FEMA, and it lands on our lap. So here's the thing. I looked, is it September 7th, Ty? And our next our first council meeting in September is September 1st. We got to do this in 2 readings. Here's why I'm asking, do we buy more time and have a conversation on the legal side of it? Just have an open discussion here. Because here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want anyone up here taking this personally if you vote for it or you vote against it. Because we're put in a very, very bad spot.
Mayor, could we delay the second reading?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm almost thinking about, do we table it for the next meeting and have a discussion? I don't know that it's going to change anything. But maybe from a legal perspective, if each of you individually wants to talk to legal counsel to navigate through this a little bit more so you have a full understanding.
Does that mean,
you guys have
does that mean we miss our deadline of September?
No, well, if we bring it back
Next meeting.
next meeting in August, we have one more in
It
August.
just needs to be transmitted to FEMA by September 7th, is what they say, which is Labor
You
Day.
can't have 2 readings, well.
But we would then miss
The
it
19th
because
of the
we wouldn't be
1st.
doing the second reading until September
First.
15th.
Yeah.
First. The first meeting in September, September 1st.
Then the next
So-
one would be the 15th.
August 19th and then September 1st.
August 19th
and
and September
then
1st.
September
Oh.
15th, yeah.
So what is this delay going to give us? It's not our
I think
legal
it's gonna-
city attorney looking into the legal details?
He's looked until he's exhausted, but Kate, do you want to weigh in? We're struggling here.
I don't have any answers. I don't know
Yeah.
how you attack this. And my recommendation would be to go the political route that you guys have already
Yeah.
attempted. A legal challenge against FEMA is difficult
Mhm.
at best.
And expensive.
Right. That said, it can't hurt to exhaust all avenues and look at it and see what we can do. At this point, I think your options today would be to table it at this point, not do a first reading, do a first reading, approve it now, and then perhaps reconsider on the second reading, or table it for a September meeting.
Ty, are you comfortable with that? I mean, I know we've had plenty.
And this
of
is the
discussions.
council's decision.
Yeah.
If it's something you want to take some more time to look into, then
Yeah.
by all means.
Gentlemen?
I personally, I trust the information that we have. I would love to find out something different. Knowing that we have 2 readings as an option, it allows us then, if we found something different, to vote no next time.
That's
So
fair enough.
I'm okay. If there's a consensus to want to table it, I'm all right with that, because God forbid something happened and we couldn't have 2 readings in between. That's my only concern. I don't see that happening. But I'm okay if consensus was to table it. I'm also okay voting on it tonight and prepare, look over everything for the next 2 weeks and still have an open mind.
Okay. Commissioner Hill?
Same here.
I'll support that.
Yeah,
So you guys you're good with moving forward the first reading and then we'll take a look at it?
yes.
Okay, fair enough. Roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
No.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
I have 4 ayes and 1 no, Your Honor.
Very good. Motion carried.
Your Honor, that finishes mine tonight.
Okay. You had quite the,
More than I
Yeah.
thought.
very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Decker?
Got nothing, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Sutherland?
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
All right, Commissioner Mingus?
Got a few items tonight, Your Honor. First one, resolution number 2627-041. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 2627-041, resolution approving the proposal for mobile Communications America for the bidirectional amplifier system project for the new police station be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2627-041 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Mayor, I'll let you expand on this if I don't get it exactly correct, but it looks like we've had some radio communication challenges in certain areas of the new police department. And this bidirectional amplifier is going to assist in rectifying those issues. The cost of it is $32,907.41.
So this is actually no surprise, maybe to you guys it is, but they knew that when the building was designed, there may be an issue with the holding area where they bring folks that are in custody into the jail. Just with the design and the construction, they were told up front that there may likely be more communication equipment needed. And now that the station's up and running and the guys are operating out there, it's needed. So, and this was a budgeted item as part of the construction. $32,907.41. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Second amendment, Your Honor, Resolution 2627-042. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Illinois, that resolution number 2627-042, resolution approving the purchase of Christmas tree displays for the Festival of Lights from Holiday Outdoor Decor be approved. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2627-042 be accepted on its first reading as read by its title and be laid on the table for no less than 1 week for public inspection.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. This is pretty much self-explanatory. This is purchase of Christmas tree displays for out here on Levy Park. Looks like it's got a new 18-foot panel Christmas tree and some other LED Christmas trees that will be placed throughout the park. Total cost is $19,090.25.
Yeah, so we're gonna, Corey's got big plans, been working really hard, kind of an exciting thing, if you will, to utilize the park and try to bring back, if people remember, like the Enchanted Forest, what we used to do years ago. And the idea is to try to use space that can draw more people and be better utilized and decorate this space more. We're also gonna be bringing in front of council sometime soon. I'm gonna try to get all the businesses down here to light up their buildings again, and it starts with us. We gotta lead by example to do that. But our big green tree that we had out here for many years, it finally expired. So that's what's before us tonight, is to buy a new tree and then some other LED little Christmas trees to build out the display here. But shop and stroll, stay tuned to that. We haven't really made big announcements other than reaching out to all the businesses and talking about how we're going to kind of revitalize that and incorporate everything from here all the way down to the Four Corner Shopping District and the other side of Springfield Road there. So stay tuned for that. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you, motion carried.
Final item tonight, Your Honor, Resolution 2627-043. Whereas David Horn has been continuously employed by the city from August 1st, 2006 to the end of the day on August 4th, 2026, most recently occupying the position of police sergeant. Whereas David Horn announced his intention to retire from employment effective the end of his shift on August 4th, 2026, and whereas the city is appreciative of the long and continued service provided by David Horn, and whereas it is in the best interest of the city to execute the attached separation agreement, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of East Peoria, Tazewell County, Illinois, that Section 1, the above recitals are found to be true and correct, and Section 2, the mayor is hereby authorized to execute the separation agreement with such changes as mayor in his sole discretion may decide are in the best interest of the City of East Peoria. Mr. Mayor, I move you that this resolution number 2627-043 be adopted as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. This is, again, self-explanatory. This may be the first time that I've read one of these that the actual retirement date is the date of the council meeting. So Sergeant Horn is retiring from 20 years, almost exactly 20 years and 3 days of employment. Just for the record, we always read these out. His total payout which I saw it earlier, $72,432.67, and that is for unused paid time off that he did not use. Want to wish Sergeant Horn best of luck in retirement. I'm sure he'll stay busy, and just best of luck to him.
Very good. Commissioner Decker.
Thank you. You know, this is a tough one. I'd heard that Dave was thinking about retiring, but was surprised when I found out that he was. I think one good way to describe him is he's one of the nicest, very tough guys you'll meet. He's extremely tough, but one of the good, genuine, nice individuals. Really hopeful that he enjoys retirement and just appreciate his service to the city.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Hill.
Congratulations, Sergeant Horn, and good luck in your retirement.
Very good.
Yeah, I would like to say that David Horn is a friend of mine. He's a good man, and I wish him the best on his retirement. That's it.
Good. Yep, I spoke to him at 4:45. He was going to finish his shift out until 6 p.m. tonight, and then just log off on the computer. So no sign off for him. He said that's the way he came in 20 years ago, and that's the way he wanted to go out. I have personally appreciated his dedicated service. He is honestly one of the most well-respected sergeants when you talk to the officers that serve underneath him, but probably the all-time greatest ride-along going down into history would be with Sergeant Horn. And I'll leave the details out other than I got a phone call from the chief the following Monday to ask how much I enjoyed the pursuit. And I said, our guys rock. And he said, well, you know I have a no pursuit policy. I said, I don't think you do anymore. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. But awesome guy. Wish him well in his retirement. And I want to give him credit too, because he's one of those officers that served another department before he hired on here. So he's got about 23 years of service in law enforcement. And that's, appreciate his dedicated service to us, that's for sure. And he sounded super pumped, so I'm not sure what's on his plate tomorrow, but I don't think he really cared. He made it out today, and one of his first calls was at the old police station this morning. I think our fire department let the police know there was a guy beating up the phone in the lobby. He thought he was in the police department. So one of the frequent flyers that Sergeant Horn's had the privilege of taking into custody multiple times. So
He's even been a school resource officer.
he has.
He's done about
Very well
everything.
respected there.
Yes.
So wish him well. That roll call?
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, aye, Your Honor.
Thank you. Motion carried.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Comments from the public? Anyone wish to address the council on anything, non-agenda item? Yes, sir.
Never done this before, so do I have to state my name, blood, mother's maiden name, anything?
No.
I'm Steve Driscoll, and when you guys brought up the flood thing, I'm not here to fight FEMA. I'm not an insurance broker. I've been in the restoration business for 37 years. I was a co-owner of Metal Construction Restoration, and just about every flood in the past 34 years I've been involved with. So April 13th, 2013 was the start of a 17-day, 1,000-year flood. Our company was working from all the way up in Joliet, all the way down to St. Louis, with hundreds of other restoration companies that we called in. And regarding flood insurance, one of the trends that we have seen in the restoration business, so think fire, flood, mold, vehicles that hit buildings, is that people are not having the correct insurance to keep up because they cannot afford it. And these are our neighbors. Okay, when you look at the properties down in Richland, things in that area, you're exactly right, Mr. Sutherland. Those properties, they'll be gone. So in 2013, I have a friend that owns property on the river that floods every 7 years, and he gets it remodeled every 7 years on our taxpayer dime. In 2013, for his 3-bedroom cabin on the river on the Peoria side, was $1,300. And he already had it calculated that he was getting about $9,000 a year in replacement FEMA. So he was ahead of the game. When you talk about people down here, no, those people will be gone. They will leave. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I appreciate the insight. Thank you. That was
thank
actually
you.
helpful. You may be roped into the conversations over the next 2 weeks. So Thanks for volunteering. Anyone else? Seeing no one, comments from the council. Commissioner Decker.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Very good. Commissioner Hill.
Just one thing. If you're not out there on Friday afternoon, out to my right, out in Levy Park, you're missing out. They'll go through the month of August. I'm talking about the East Peoria Farmers Market. And I'm not sure how many farmers they've got out there based on some of the feedback, but you can at least go out there and find some Maker's Mart type things. There's definitely some bakers and some good items out there, and there's a good variety. Every weekend it changes over. So
Did you say Maker's
I
Mark?
think he did.
Maker's Mart.
That's what I heard. Oh,
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. I swear that's what you said. I'm
I was
like,
wondering
did
who
he
all
just
noticed
say?
that.
We're selling booze? Okay.
No.
That'll draw people
No,
in.
Maker's Mart,
Okay.
people making things.
Okay, gotcha.
Ah,
Yeah.
Thanks for
All
the
right.
clarification.
Thanks
So
for
innocent.
clarifying that
Yeah.
public record.
That's all for me.
Man, we would have had all 5 of us show up for that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Sutherland.
Yeah, I got 3 things I want to touch base with before I give up my soapbox. Last city council meeting, there was a discussion about opening the fire department's wage increase for the newbies coming in. And I had an open mind. I mean, everybody's got a piece of pie. The police department's got a pie, and how they spend it is up to them as long as they stay within the pie, as far as I'm concerned. So does the fire department. So does the sewer and the water department. So does the street department. Everybody does, okay? And I was trying to make a point, and I may not have said it exactly correct, but I think I did, but you could have interpreted it more than one way, which was unfortunate. That East Peoria has firemen, and East Peoria has paramedics. They're cross-trained. So East Peoria just don't have paramedics. They're also firemen. They have to be working for the city. East Peoria don't have just firemen, they're cross-trained, they have to be paramedics. So if they're working for the city. So, and that's a good thing. It really is, because I'm getting old, I'm gonna need them. I'm not gonna piss any one of them off if I can help it. But my point was that you can cross-train and spend that money as long as you don't go over your piece of your pie. And if you're worried about paying somebody's wages early and stuff, I think you have to take a look at give something to get something to stay within that piece of pie. That was the direction I was going with my comment about the fire department and the paramedics. And I got a text that I'm going to read as best I can. It says, "Can I send this?" with a question mark. Commissioner Sutherland, I'm extremely disappointed in your comments at the City Council meeting last night. Not only were you inaccurate in your thoughts, you were also extremely disrespectful for the men and women that serve on the city every day. I'm going to say bullshit to that. I was not. Our fire department is staffed by full-time professional firefighters and paramedics that are cross-trained or in the process of being paramedics. Until just a few years ago, we were the only all-advanced life support paramedic on every machine south of I-80. Our service not only works to provide a second-to-none service for our taxpayers, we also generate a large amount of revenue for the city. Surrounding communities that contract the ambulance service generate no dollars but pay for the service. My phone is always on. I am always available to help you understand what, why, and how we do things. I have never lied to you in the past. I will never. I truly believe a public apology for the inaccurate statements is appropriate. Even if no apology is given, I will always be there to answer any question you have. Appreciate the job that you do. It is thankless, and I do understand it. It is time-consuming. Thank you for serving our great community. Kind regards, Ross Aarons. He's not going to get an apology. Not ever, not now, not tomorrow. That is, he knows that's not what I meant. The problem that we have in the state of Illinois, and I'm going to probably get myself in a ringer here, is that most pensions are the last 5 years, I could be wrong on that a little bit, the best 3 years of that 5 years added together and divided by 3. And they get approximately 80% of that pension. Now, I, as an owner-operator and operating engineer that work tractors, if I put in $5,000 to my pension, that's all I got. I didn't get a pension on how much money I made the last 3 of my last 5 years the best. That's why Illinois is in trouble with pensions, including this city, including the school districts. The school districts, take a look at your property taxes. The school districts take up a large amount of your property taxes, and I got called in on the floor the last time I said 85%, but a little under 80% of the entire property tax from ICC District 86, District 309, which is a larger portion of your property taxes, goes to pay pensions. Not pencils, not paper, not the guy sweeping the floor, not the school buses, pensions. So that was my point. And Ross had the audacity to ask me to apologize, and he don't even live in our fire district or our city. He don't pay taxes here. So it kills me that people that want me to pay more money in taxes to have a better fire department and paramedics are leaving our community and moving elsewhere that don't have it. I don't understand that double way of thinking. Ever, never will. I guess I just, maybe every once in a while, turn on the common sense switch. Okay, done with that subject. Garbage cans have a 10-year life expectancy. Don't stuff them full, especially in the wintertime, because they have to be shaken to get the stuff that's frozen to the sides out, which can damage your garbage can. Open the lid toward the street and keep your garbage cans 6 feet apart. We've had a lot of damages lately, but our garbage cans that we started selling years ago are well over the 10-year mark now, so you have to be putting them together with chewing gum. Arnold Road is about halfway done with the new water main, and we've been slowed up with a couple vacations, a couple water breaks, and the rain that was here, and then the heat slowed everything down when it did get calmed down. These guys are working in some hot weather. So they're doing a good job, and I hope I'm doing a good job by overseeing the direction this city's going with repairing and replacing pipe, sewer, and water. I'm done.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Mays?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Just kind of ending on a sad note, former Mayor Dick Dotson passed away on July 23rd. He was 91 years old, and he had been suffering some health issues for the last couple of years of his life and passed peacefully, but I just want to share a quick story. I didn't really get to know him. I was just getting out of the Marine Corps back when he was our mayor. He actually was the mayor here when the Paradise was landed. So anyway, I say that because it was our first year in office here as a mayor. I invited all the living mayors to come in for a luncheon, and all of them I knew, except for Dick. I'd met him on occasion, but didn't really get to know him. So everyone told me, listen, a couple of these guys don't get along. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. They don't have to come if they don't want to, but I want to invite them. We got a really nice lunch for them. Well, they all showed up. So we have that picture over in City Hall. It was one of the best times ever sitting around watching these gentlemen kind of share stories, some of them. Wow, we wouldn't get away with some of the stuff they did back in the day. But I found that gentleman to be one of the funniest, wise asses, I guess, to be polite about it. That guy, he was an equal opportunist when it came to just laying stuff out for people. But I just really took a fondness to his personality, and he was a very charismatic guy. So thoughts and prayers are with his family, his wife and his family, as they go through some tough times. But led a good life, and I just thought I would mention that. So we'll end on that note. I'd seek a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adjourn until Tuesday evening, August 18th, 2026 at 6 p.m.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Decker?
Aye.
Hill?
Aye.
Mingus?
Aye.
Sutherland?
Aye.
Mayor Call?
Aye.
All present voting, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're adjourned until we meet again.